The Philadelphia Second Alarmers, we're very proud of what we do, and many times I've said to people who've seen us on the street at any emergency scene, they look at our members, how we're dressed, they look at our trucks, and they said, we didn't realize you're volunteers. Your trucks look like the fire department. You look like you're firefighters, but really, in essence, we're the best kept secret in the city of Philadelphia.
Balls of fire!
Box 1775, fire reported at Aramingo Avenue on Wheat Chief Lane, reported to be a building. The following companies will respond and operate on North Fire Tech Channel 1, Engine 28, Phone 33, Engine 52, Engine 25, Ladder 10, Ladder 15, Battalion 10, Battalion 12, Ladder 45. Proceed SA1. 1775.
So, have you ever wondered who helps take care of the men and women out there saving us? Well, this need to provide comfort is covered by a local group right here in Philadelphia. Meet the Second Alarmers. When tragedy strikes, first responders are immediately called to the scene. Then there's a group who are the second to respond. In the city of Philadelphia, that's the Second Alarmers.
We'll provide our rest and rehab, which is our food, drinks, supplies.
Chief Gregory Massey, a retired police officer, runs this 100% volunteer organization. It has a station of its own, funded by donations from police and firefighters, and has 38 active members of all skill sets.
They actually live, and on their days off from work, they stay here around the clock.
From here, they can self-dispatch to any emergency or event, like the New Year's Day parade. When police officer Andy Chan was hurt, Second Alarmers were there at the hospital. They also respond to major emergencies.
We had a extra alarm fire, a multiple alarm fire up in the Northeast, and we were there for almost 6 hours.
Now, the time they spend on scene can range from an hour to even days.
The Amtrak train derailment, we were there for 3 days, providing not just food and nourishment, but we also carry a lot of wide area lighting that we can light up areas to make it seem safe for them.
If crews need it, the Second Alarmers have it.
All right, show me what's up.
Volunteer Barry says, show me what they have.
The hot chocolate, the coffee.
We also provide hand warmers, dry gloves, dry socks.
And year-round, water. Last year, 38,000 bottles.
If we don't keep them hydrated, there's a potential they're going to have heat exhaustion or heat stroke.
And now you can't mention Second Alarmers without their secret weapon, the homemade bug juice.
A lot of people say it fuels the body.
It's pretty good.
This 3 cheers is for the Second Alarmers Association.
Thank you. Play some drums. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Philadelphia Second Alarmers 100th year anniversary celebration. My name is John McGrath, and I'm a retired member of the Philadelphia Fire Department, and will be your MC for today's ceremony. I would ask at this time that all will rise while we present the colors and play the national anthem. Lieutenant Green, present the colors. At this time, I would ask Chief John Grillone to come forward for the singing of the national anthem.
Company, can hut. Hand salute. Present arms.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to tell you a little story. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Chief Grillone. That was absolutely beautiful. I would ask, ladies and gentlemen, if you remain standing as I call Father Stephen Wetzel to the podium to give the invocation for the day. Father Wetzel.
Thank you, John. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, we come before you on this day to pray your blessings upon this organization, the Philadelphia Second Alarmers Association, on their 100th anniversary of service to the city of Philadelphia. We are eternally grateful for the service this organization has offered so generously, without hesitation, to all first responders and to the citizens of this city. Bless and protect the work of their hands as you watch over all of our men and women who serve us in the Philadelphia Police Department, Philadelphia Fire Department, in our city of Philadelphia. We remember most especially those who have sacrificed and those who have died. In particular, this day, we remember fondly Lieutenant Terrence Gordon. This we pray, O God, through Christ the Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. If you would all take your seats, please, we will begin. I'd like to welcome everybody here for honoring our second alarmers. As I said, I'm a retired member of the Philadelphia Fire Department, and personally, over my 33 years in the department, I can attest to how much the second alarmers are appreciated by a rank and file member. These people give of themselves without any compensation. They are there on the holidays, on the weekends, in the hot weather and the cold. Both police and fire departments in Philadelphia and other organizations owe an awful lot. So this is a day of celebration, but it's also a day to honor those that have gone before us. I'd like to start by the introduction of some dignitaries that have taken time out of their busy schedule to be with us today. First, the Honorable Mayor James Kenney, Mayor of Philadelphia. Councilman at Large David O. Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw. And Fire Commissioner Adam Teal. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking time out of your schedule to be here today. Now I'd like to introduce Chief Massey, the leader of the 2nd Alarmers. Greg has served 40 years as a member of the Philadelphia Police Department. He has served 24 years as a member of the 2nd Alarmers, 20 of those years as chief. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Greg Massey.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'm not sure if I'm a leader, more of a chief cook and bottle washer is what it sounds like. First of all, let me extend a hearty thank you to everybody. When we started putting this thing together about 4 or 5 years ago, never in my mind could imagine the turnout that we're seeing today, to support from the city of Philadelphia, all of our friends. We have so many people that made this possible. Remember, I always believed that this organization started in 1921. And when I came in, I'm just laying bricks on top of a foundation that was already here. And when I go, I hope that that foundation continues to grow, because we were formed strictly to serve our first responders and their needs. And I think we have done that over the years. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the Honorable Mayor James Kenney to the podium.
I think we can all agree on one thing. Chief, we all love you very much. I first met you in the radio room a long, long time ago. And I thank you for inviting me here today. And it's a pleasure to be here as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers Association. 2nd Alarmers organization is truly a family affair, not only because they are an integral part of the city's public safety family, but because their committed members include a father and daughter, father and son, brothers, and many others with family ties. The group's motto is, "We've got your back, you have our promise." That can mean anything from a cup of hot coffee on a frigid winter day to a bottle of bug juice and a cold towel on a humid night. Last year, the 2nd Alarmers logged more than 24,000 hours of service during hundreds of emergency incidents. It's hard to believe they don't get paid for this type of dedication, but the 2nd Alarmers are staffed purely by volunteers, and as they like to say, they volunteer not because they are worthless, but because they are priceless. And we are tremendously grateful for this vision and leadership of 2nd Alarmers Chief Greg Massey, who also served in the Philadelphia Police Department for 40 years. The city has been fortunate to have the 2nd Alarmers for the past 100 years, and we look forward to the next 100 years and more. So thank you very much. And I always remember my dad would always comment that you guys were always out there on those cold evenings or those hot days, always ready to lend a hand and lend a shoulder to lean on. So thanks, Chief. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Kenney. This time, I would like to call to the podium Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw for a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. On behalf of your entire Philadelphia Police Department family, it is with great pride and admiration that I extend our congratulations to the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers on reaching this absolutely incredible milestone. Since 1921, the 2nd Alarmers have always been a vital link in the chain of first responders to serve the police and fire community with unwavering commitment and dedication. 100 years. Wow. Can we just applaud just for that? Obviously, an achievement of 100 successful years of service is certainly not something that happens by accident. It is rather the direct result of excellence in service delivered by the men and women who comprise the Second Alarmers. Your commitment to promote and provide assistance, camaraderie, and essential necessities to fellow first responders at critical times is absolutely invaluable, and we cannot overstate our collective appreciation. And I mean that wholeheartedly. We all know the last year and a half has been nuts. And each time we were out there around the clock, I can always look to my left, my right, or even behind me and see or find the Second Alarmers somewhere. And speaking of appreciation, I can't even begin to mention how much I've appreciated each and every bottle of bug juice. I didn't know anything about bug juice until I got here. But let me tell you, I find myself asking for bug juice now that you guys have given me. Seriously, that stuff is really, really good. So again, on this milestone occasion, I want to congratulate the entire Second Alarmers organization for 100 years of incredible service to our first responders family. You folks are truly and absolutely our heroes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Outlaw. At this time, I would ask Fire Commissioner Adam Teal to please come to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Chief, and good afternoon, everybody. I would like to start with some audience participation, if you don't mind. On three, why don't we all wish a sincere happy anniversary to Chief Massey and the Second Alarmers. 1, 2, 3. Happy anniversary! We're gonna make you cry, Chief. If it's the last thing we do, we're gonna make you cry. In all seriousness, we have spent, as my esteemed colleague said, the past couple years dealing with quite an environment. I think nuts is a great description. And throughout that time, we have had too many occasions to talk about remembering our fallen and talking about events that we should never forget. So it is fantastic to be here with all of you celebrating this happy occasion and a different type of never forget. For me, the day was May 17th of 2016. My second day on the job here in the great city of Philadelphia. I had just gotten my uniforms and responded to a fire in North Philly where our firefighters and medics saved a woman from a fire in a row house, assisted, of course, as always, by our sisters and brothers in the police department. And of course, it was that day that pressed into my hand by Chief Massey himself my very first ice-cold bottle of bug juice. So that is a day for me, a happy day that I will truly never forget. And there's no question that over the past 5.5 years of my journey, through hundreds of millions of dollars of new investment in fire apparatus, ambulances, staff, equipment, thanks to Mayor Kenny and our council, and most importantly, to all of you for your support. There's no doubt that over that 5.5 years, I have been at least partially fueled by Second Alarmers coffee and bug juice and, as you might imagine, tasty cakes. So thank you for that, Chief, as well. You know, the service this organization provides is, I mean, there's so many different superlatives that we could use. And I've had the opportunity, as many of you know, to work in 5 different states, a lot of different jurisdictions. I've been around a little bit, as Chief McGrath has also had that opportunity, working down in Carolina for a few years. I can tell you there are a lot of organizations out there that support their first responders. I have never seen an organization that operates at this level. Literally hundreds of fires and other incidents every year. And over the past 18 to 24 months, the Second Alarmers have done so much more than support us, supporting our first responders. They have supported protesters. They've supported folks in encampments. They've supported our Emergency Operations Center. And most recently, when we put together our welcoming mission for evacuees from Afghanistan, we needed help. And one of those calls went, as usual, to the Second Alarmers. So many of those evacuees were greeted by Second Alarmers, water, and tasty cakes. And let's talk about water for a second. Because here in Philadelphia, you often hear, well, it must be something in the water. Well, you know what? This spirit, this ethic of neighbor helping neighbor that is exemplified by the Second Alarmers, there is no doubt the tie that binds us, maybe it's bug juice, but more likely it is something in the water. The water that's provided to us by the Second Alarmers to all of us. It is something we all share. All of us who have served or been served here in the city of Philadelphia share that common thread. So thank God for the past 100 years, there has been something in the water. Thank you all. God bless. God bless this great city and stay safe.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. At this time, I would ask Councilman David O. to come to the podium to make a presentation to Chief Massey.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to start by saying that on behalf of the Council of the City of Philadelphia, I am so honored and pleased to present to Chief Massey and the Second Alarmers a resolution recognizing and honoring and celebrating the Philadelphia Second Alarmers on the occasion of their 100th anniversary. For the last century, the Philadelphia Second Alarmers have honorably served the city's first responders with meals, refreshments, equipment, and support during emergencies and large public events. The Second Alarmers were born on a chilly February night in 1921 when a group of local residents joined together to provide coffee and refreshments for firefighters working in the harsh conditions. What began as a canteen service to deliver refreshments to firefighters and police has now expanded to include generators, floodlighting, radio battery exchanges, heating and cooling supplies and equipment, and replacement clothing, as well as EMS and mass casualty response capabilities. The Second Alarmers cover over 400 responses a year, and members are available for 24 hours, 7 days a week dispatch. The Second Alarmers lend vital support to first responders during notable emergencies and events such as the derailment of Amtrak Train 188, Hurricane Sandy, and the visit of Pope Francis. As the Second Alarmers mark a century of steadfast service to our city's first responders, the Council of the City of Philadelphia is proud to honor the many volunteers who lift up those who protect and serve our community each day. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that it hereby recognizes and honors and celebrates the Philadelphia Second Alarmers on the occasion of their 100th anniversary. Let me just state personally that this is a good day. Many times these gatherings are bad days, and in this thing that you do, the days can be so very low. Let's make this a day that is so very high as we celebrate and commemorate 100 years of those who serve with a spirit of generosity, compassion, caring, understanding, and support. We thank you so very much, all of you, and all of you who support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman O. I would ask if Chief Massey would remain at the podium. At this time, Chief Massey would like to present some awards to two of our members for their long-term service.
Thanks, Chief. Again, you're right, Commissioner Teal. I've been tearing for the last 15 minutes. It's not the onions in the kitchen either. It's actual genuine tears. This has been a tremendous event that was put together by a lot of our members, truly teamwork. And the organization never would have got this far without that teamwork. I get a lot of the acclimates and the pats on the back, but believe me, I'm just a branch on a tree. The tree is the organizations of the members themselves. Commissioner Outlaw mentioned something about being nuts. Real quick story, last year when we were doing all of the, I lost count, but it was over probably 20 or 22 various protest events that we were asked to respond to provide our nutritional benefit to the police department and our fire department members. And we talk about bug juice. And you got to understand that everybody in the emergency umbrella here knows what bug juice is. It's green in color. So we were out at one event and the protesters were in close proximity and they said, look at this. He goes, the police are drinking antifreeze. And I said, listen, you have to understand, they overheat too. But again, going back, you heard some of the things that were mentioned today about what we do, but I think the most memorable event, we've done a lot of special events in the city, but I think last year was more humbling for us when at the fire department, we actually had a task force that responded here from our station for about 2 weeks. We were able to house 20 fire department members here at the building, slept around the clock, and hospitality was exchanged back and forth. And then when COVID, as we well know, is still not over, we were able to host a COVID transportation group here for 7 months. And they actually responded from the station. So again, this would not have been available 20 years ago. We've actually transformed this organization into something totally different. When I first got involved, again, a lot of help from benefactors that I want to acknowledge today. But the most important benefactor before I give out any award is I don't know where she's at, but the real chief of the Second Alarmers is my wife, Marcia. Marcia Massey, where are you at? She's already in there at the kitchen already with help. And I mean it sincerely, when we get involved in anything, I don't care what it is, whether it's sports, if you don't have a willing partner to support you, and I can tell you this right now, I know I don't have much hair left, and whatever hair she has turned to another color because of the countless phone calls throughout the middle of the night, and she allows me to do this crazy thing to support our response. I love to give, I've always been a giver, and I enjoy doing this. But getting back now, I want to do some acknowledgements of our people, both in the organization and outside the organization. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here today, and I mean that sincerely. So at this time, I would like to invite up 3 of our members. In a tradition in the fire service and police service, we try to acknowledge people that have 20 years of service or longer. So at this time, I'd like to invite up to the front here, Bernie Turner, Pete Speckos, and Alden Blythe. So as you can see, these 3 members, Bernie became a member in 1984, Pete in 1986, and Alden in 1992. And actually Alden, I say he's the most important guy here, more than the chief. He's the treasurer. Without him, I can't survive. So these 3 here I've put in, I can't tell you, I can't even begin to count the amount of hours that it needs to support this organization 24/7, all the time. So give them a round of applause, please. Pete, you please stay here. So, you know, the Philly season just wrapped up. It wasn't the best season of all. I'm a big baseball fan, but they're already talking about Bryce Harper as the MVP. And of course, he has my vote as well. I'm a true and hard Phillies fan. But this organization also has an MVP. And this MVP, without him, I can tell you right now, I could not wait for this day to be over. It was like putting a wedding together. And thank God I had boys. But this was really a tiresome event, even until this morning when, and he knows my patience is not as good as it used to be. So Pete Specco has really helped me put this together. I can't tell you how much hours he did on his own time, going from every firehouse in the city, vendors, whatever. I just could not do this without him. And I mean that sincerely. So Pete, I want to present you a special award for all of the hard work you put together. Again, Pete was just phenomenal. I can't emphasize it enough, and I know when it's the end of the day, I'll probably say some other choice words and we can't repeat on him, but he's been great to me, and I can't thank you enough, Pete. Thank you so much. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. So this day has been going on planning for the past 100 years. And as Chief said, it cannot be done without our benefactors, the families, the supporters, but most of all, our police and fire departments, and especially our members. SA members, this is your day. Happy anniversary. Right now, I just want to do two quick things. One, Marsha Massey, Karen Speckos, and Christy Carousel, please come here. As everybody knows, Marsha is Chief Massey's wife. Karen is my wife. Chrissy, if you're here, she was very instrumental, as well as these other two ladies, putting this anniversary together because they put up with us, trying to get everything done. So that being said, Karen, come next to Marsha, please. Mandy. Thank you, women, ladies. Thank you. SA officers to the front. Chairman of the board, Bernie Turner. I can go back, right? Chief Massey, as much as you're going to hate this. Chief Keck.
Oh no.
Come over here. Chief Greg Massey, you have done an honor for us. Oh, shut up. You're going to like this, whether you like it or not. You have done an honor for us for the past 22 years you've been with us. Chief Massey has also served 20 consecutive years as chief, the longest we ever had. And that being said, Chief Gregory Massey, on behalf of the officers and members of the association, we'd like to present to you this plaque. The inscription reads, presented to Chief Gregory C. Massey, on behalf of the officers and members of the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers, congratulations on serving 20 consecutive years as chief, October 9th, 2021. Company, hand salute. Ready, two. Before Chief Massey speaks, one more person I want to recognize. Chief John Lewis right here is one of our former past chiefs. Chief Dr. Lewis, thank you for everything that you've done as well, sir.
Again, very humbling. I told Peter, there's two things I'll leave you with today before I finish these awards. When someone says you want to be an interim, say no. That happened 20 years ago, and I'm sorry I said yes, but I guess some good came out of it. I always want to remember, like the Wizard of Oz, I'm the guy behind the curtain. I don't have a dog, I have a cat. So that's what I want. I want to be the Wizard of Oz. These people are ones, they deserve the round of applause for what they do every day. They make me look good. Thank you. Karen Speckos, can you come up here, please? So Karen Speckos, as you all know, is the wife of Pete Speckos, my MVP, which I call. Karen does a lot of things. She was a member here many years ago, but as you all know, things change in life. She does a lot of things behind the scenes, not just for today, for a lot of events. And I mean that sincerely. You don't know how much she does. And a lot of people don't realize that it is a family organization and the family does get involved. So Karen, I'm going to present you with something. Now, if you remember, there's various awards for various organizations. Hockey, they call it the Stanley Cup. Horse racing, I believe it's called the Breeders' Cup. Well, we have our own cup as well. And I want to present this to Karen as well. So our cup is called the Coffee Cup. So Karen, on behalf of this organization, I want to present our coffee cup to you, which is our highest honor, believe it or not. Karen. Thank you. Okay. All right. So moving right along, I want to finish. Oh, and I have some important things. Mayor Kenny, I know you probably have so many attire from various organizations. Well, you can definitely come up here, sir. Well, you should see my attire. So this is our official Bug Juice T-shirt. Okay. And if you're ever in a protest event, I don't know, this might be.
I might likely do. Thank you.
Okay. So now I want to really get into what I say. These are the people I want to thank. Another member that's just recently came into the organization a year ago, his brother was the late Chief Mike Goodwin. We don't have to get into how Mike was. I know Mike very well. I'd like to introduce his brother, Jimmy, up here, please. Jim, come up. Jimmy Goodwin. So just to let you know, when you come into the station today, I want you all to look around, specifically the kitchen, the mural that's in the kitchen, and everything in our dedication hall. But Jimmy was instrumental, even with the banner outside. Everything you see, so much work was done behind the scenes. And Jimmy's been only with us for a year now. So Jimmy, on behalf of this organization, I want to present this plaque to you with sincere appreciation for what you've done for us.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Nate Thomas here? Nate? Okay. I need somebody from Wissahickon Brewery here. Wissahickon, please come up. Now, this is really probably the most important thing you're going to hear today. Besides the food that we have, Wissahickon Brewery actually brewed up a 100th anniversary. We actually had a sample yesterday. It's phenomenal. And you all can have a sample of it, but you can't drive. You can take a can home with you. Wissahickon Brewery came through with this 100th anniversary Pilsner for us. It's phenomenal. And the cans are in station very dead. So I want to present this plaque to Wissahickon for what you've done for us. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, I have a representative from the Tasty Baking Company. Tasty, oh good. This, again, if you can only make cakes without calories, I'd love you even more. Tasty Baking has been a big supporter of this organization way before I became here. I mean, they've always been there for us. And they're, whenever we need something, and we do a lot of things other than fires. Fortunately, we have a funeral this Monday and Tuesday, and they're always there to support this organization whenever we need product. And it's just phenomenal that the corporate participation we've had over the years at Tasty Baking is top in that. So at this time, I'd like to present this anniversary plaque to you. Okay, I'd like to have Lisa Hogan and Kate Jacoby please come up to the front. Now, the two ladies that are coming up here today, both with the PFD Families Association, involved in so many activities for our PFD families. Today, those who have children and those even adults, we have a lot of events on the outside, along the side of our building in the back. These two young ladies put this together at a moment's notice for us. And I can't thank them enough for not just this event, for other events that we've had here at the station. They always say yes when I give them a call. So again, when I say we're going to be an interim, say no, but these ladies always say yes. So I want to present these two to you for everything you've done for this organization over the years. Okay, I guess this is a really important one now. We all heard about bug juice. Well, it's like liquid gold, or as the firemen would call it, green champagne. So I'd like to have somebody from iRice come up to the front, please. Now, funny story how this all started. iRice a few years ago saw, Channel 29 did a story on us. They saw us on a fire doing bug juice. iRice happened to also see this same story. They actually could not believe that they saw us we get gallons of this every month, gallons of it, because we make it. They thought we had a slushing machine here. They didn't realize it was being used for first responders. So it was a real good education for them. But again, I can't thank iRice for all of everything they've done for us over the years, especially in my tenure. So on behalf of the Second Alarmers, I present this to iRice. Okay. All right, so when you come into the station, and please, we got a lot of food here, and my motto is, I want you to eat and drink as much as you can. That's less we have to clean up at the end of the day. Okay? But when you go in when you come in our station, you have to go into the kitchen. There's no food in there, but you have to see a piece of art that will tell you the Second Alarmer stories over 100 years, and let your mind wander when you see this mural. So at this time, I'd like to bring up somebody from Angel's Fine Arts, which is Angel herself, for everything she's done put together. Okay, I need somebody to break rank. I need somebody from the pipe and drums up here to accept an award. Now, I always feel that there's 7 wonders of the world. Well, here's the 8th wonder of Philadelphia. Pipe and drums are at every event, and I mean every event, not just funerals or events. They're there and they never say no. I've seen them at many, many events. They've been here a number of times for us over my 20 years for things that we had here. So on behalf of the Second Alarm, we're going to present this to the pipe and drums. Okay, is Corporal Brian Coyle here? Corporal Coyle? Okay. So a few weeks ago, there was somebody known, especially for the police department. We all knew him. I remember when I was in the roundhouse for a number of years. He'd always be there to greet me when I left, sometimes when I came in the morning. And his name was Emmanuel W. Staten. Well, we all called him Manny. Manny was an honorary police explorer. Manny was one of the most beloved individuals, very, very involved with everything of the police department. I just seen him recently at the Thrill Show. Manny unfortunately passed away a few weeks ago. I can't tell you how grateful I was to know him over the years. Even when I got promoted, he would always say corporal. I never told him I was a sergeant. I actually got lucky twice. But Manny was a great kid, and I will miss him. So on behalf, we'd like to present this plaque in Manny's honor to the police explorers. Okay, now this guy is probably going to not like this at all. I know him because we think alike, and he's like me, doesn't want any limelight. He's the man behind the curtain. I'm kicking him out. This time, I'd like to have Lieutenant Joseph Gardner come up, please. Now, real quickly, Joe Gardner, I'll tell you this, in the last 10 years, I know this for certain, Joe has always put fundraisers together for this organization so we continue our service. And I can tell you this now, between the fundraisers, not just Joe, it's a family event. And a lot of firefighters would now jump in with Joe when they knew it was a fundraiser for this organization. And I know for certain in over 10 years, Joe has raised well over $100,000 for this organization. $100,000 over the last 10 years. And literally. So, of course, he's not going to like this, but too bad. I'm the chief and he's a lieutenant. So, Joe, on behalf of the 2nd Alarmers, we want to present this for our sincere appreciation for your continued support, what you have done for us. Thank you so much. Apparently, Joe wants to now cuss, I guess, blasphemy, I guess. Come on, Joe. Come on up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a man of few words, and I'm honored and humbled to be here to represent the members of the Philadelphia Fire Department. I asked for a collection this year. Due to COVID, we weren't able to do our tailgate. But I promise you, this number, $19,120, will be on the north side of $20,000 by next week. Chief, we love you, and we love you guys.
He always gets the last word. Again, Joe is just, he really is in the wrong business. But I'm thankful that, you know, we have a kind of a guardian angel. We've had a lot of supporters. My shoulders are sagging with all these angels that are on our shoulders helping us out throughout the year. It is an expensive operation to run here, you know, equipment-wise, insurance-wise. It's a tremendous, and this here is just mind-blowing what he just did. I can't, please give Joe and the members of the fire department a round of applause for what they did for this. So we have one more unscheduled award, and he doesn't know it's happening. John McGrath, please come up here, please. So, John McGrath, I've known him when many years now, over 40 years. And when I first came chief, you know, I always tried to say, he don't know me too much, but let me see if I can get in there in his office and ask for something. Maybe he won't refuse me. Every time I went into John's office during my tenure, a little prodding, but he helped me out through the years, things that I needed to move this organization further than what it always ran. It was a good organization. I just wanted to add more bricks to it. John was there for me every single time. And there's times where he kind of chewed me out for the coffee wasn't good here. You know, I heard that. It's okay. We learned. As a matter of fact, one time I told a quick story. I was on a fire one day, and one of the reporters come up and says, Chief, can you talk about this fire? Because you want a fire chief. I'm just a coffee chief, I said. You know, John's been great to us. So John, on behalf of the 2nd Alarmers, this is a tradition that I've done every time we have every 5 years, we'd have a kind of a celebration of tenure. We always have something we present to our Master of Ceremonies. So at this time, John is now going to be an honorary chief of this organization. And a little prodding, maybe he can take it over from me. John. Yeah, we're ready. One more. I'm sorry, one more. Up. I would not be remiss. We have one important award. Again, another supporter of this organization, and not just here, but every police, fire, and military event. Shannon from Mission Barbecue, please step up here, please. As a matter of fact, a lot of the hospitality you're going to taste today, right here. So give her all the credit, not us. She's been great to us over the years and to every event that we've ever had. They're always there all the time. Oh.
There's a check in here from Mission for $3,200.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Again, they continue to give all the time. Again, give them a round of applause. That does, I'm all out of money, so that concludes all the awards. So at this time, we'll continue on with the program.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do our memorial service. We have two members to be honored today with unveiling of their plaques for the dedication and service to the Second Alarmers Association. I would ask Chief Massey to come back up to the podium, and then we will honor them with the traditional bells and taps for fallen firefighters. Chief Massey.
So as I said in the beginning, the most unfortunate thing that happened to this organization, last year we lost two members here that went on to that rest and rehab above us. Both of these members set records that I don't think will ever be broken again. The first member I'm talking about is George White. George White joined this organization in 1948, okay? Think about that, 1948. And then Joe Farley came in the next year in 1949. 143 years of service they provided to the citizens of Philadelphia and all our first responders. Both came from various backgrounds. George was in the insurance industry. Joe was was an elevator mechanic. But one thing about them, I learned from them about what they did, and they were very, very, candid, what worked and what didn't work, because I really had to tap into them. Joe Farley's family, keep in mind, he was a third generation second alarmer. We have a charter in the back of our building here, it's on the dedication hall, that his grandfather and a group of others founded this organization in 1921. So you talk about the history that's in here, it's just phenomenal. I went through, we have every run sheet that we responded to over 100 years, over 16,000 fires and other events. It's all captured on these sheets that they made out for every event. Today we have the Farley family, and George's wife Janice is here today, and I want them to please come up to the front where the unveiling, come up to the, and they're gonna unveil, we have two plaques we're gonna honor that will be here for many, many years. These are individuals that I can tell you right now, I wish they were here today to be part of this celebration. So at this moment, the Farley family and Janice, please unveil the plaques. Now, you'll get to see the plaques later on, come please view it, but on George's plaque, he had a favorite expression, told me this all the time, we never get fires in the rain. So please sit down, everybody. Please everybody sit down. We never get fires in the rain. Well, one day George said that about 21 years ago. We were talking, we had no coverage on a Saturday, not like it is today, and 15 minutes later, we had a fire break out. 45 minutes later, that fire went to 10 alarms. It was at Tarsdale and Hegerman, I won't forget it, and we were there for 36 hours straight. I goes, George, don't ever tell me you don't get fires in the rain, because it poured like crazy that day. But that was George, and I can tell you many, many stories, we just don't have the time. I'm not gonna give you the 100-year history of it, but these two individuals, I just wish they were today, but I know they're looking down and saying, thank you so much for what you did for us. And their families, thank you for allowing them to have us in the organization. Thank you. So In 100 years, we've seen it all. And we unfortunately been to a lot of funerals for both our firefighters and police officers. We are going to be attending one Monday for Lieutenant Terrence Gordon, who passed away 1 week ago today. This is what we do. We try to honor them by providing the hospitality to their families. But at this time, in the firehouse tradition, we have what they call return to quarters, which is a ringing of the bells, which means they return to quarters safely. And then when that's concluded, we're going to play taps for our police officers that gave so much to this city and continue to give every day. Both firefighters, they are really the lifeline that keeps us safe every night. So at this time, I'd like to introduce, I have my son here, Gregory Massey, who's a member of Engine 68. I'm very proud that he took the role, what he did, and he is honored today to be here to do the ringing of the bells for our fallen firefighters.
Company 10 hut. And salute.
The hardest thing I ever had to do in my life was to tell my daughters their father was gone and to say goodbye to my husband and my friends.
Ready, two.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will conclude our memorial service. On behalf of Chief Massey and every member of the Second Alarmers, we invite you to stay around and please enjoy some of the wonderful food and tour the building. The memorial service is over. Let the celebration begin. Thank you for being here.
Welcome to the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers. My name is Chief Gregory Massey. I am the current chief of this organization. I actually joined the 2nd Alarmers back in 1997, and I was elected to chief at during the 9/11 in 2001. The current chief at the time was sick and unfortunately passed away, and been the chiefs for the last 20 years. So the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers is a very unique organization in the city of Philadelphia. All of our funding primarily comes from firefighters and police officers' contributions. The most successful program has been our payroll deduction program, where firefighters and police will donate a set amount out of their biweekly paycheck. And then we actually have some one-time contributions that will come in from police or firefighters who are not in the program, or we, believe it or not, have a lot of retired firefighters that we've serviced over the years that still continue to send us in a yearly donation to keep this organization going for our first responders. The city of Philadelphia does provide for us. We have 4 response vehicles. We were very fortunate a number of years ago to get granted in a proposal where they now will put fuel in our vehicles. And that's the only thing that we do receive is fuel from the city of Philadelphia, but nothing comes out of the city's taxpayers' pockets or the city of Philadelphia's general administration fund to fund this organization. So the Philadelphia 2nd Alarmers is a 501c3 organization. So anytime someone does contribute any funding to this organization, that can be used for tax purposes at the end of the year for them. So the 2nd Alarmers, over its existence over the last 100 years, when you think about it, they would respond primarily mostly to fire-related incidents. You know, big fires that the city was experiencing, which I call the war years over the 70s and 80s. And we still respond to those bigger events, but we also respond to a smaller event when the fire department has what we call a one-alarm fire. But when you think about it, when we're out there at a one-alarm fire, it's not just the firefighters we're supporting, but the police are there also for crowd control, traffic control. So our response is for all first responders. But we also looked at a lot of other events that we've done over the past, in my 20 years. Any major event that the city takes under their umbrella, such as major parades, Thanksgiving Day parade, New Year's Day parade, will take care of the first responders that are detailed to that event. The DNC and the RNC, which were major political events for the city, where it required a lot of police presence over a period of 4 or 5 days. Our organization provided that benefit to our officers that were on the line for 14, 15 hours a day.
I'm Diane Schweitzer, a Deputy Chief in the Philadelphia Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services. The City of Philadelphia holds many special events throughout the year, such as the Mummers Day Parade, the Broad Street Run, Welcome America on the Parkway, the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and the Philadelphia Marathon. The city also holds other special events, such as the Papal Visit and the NFL Draft, also on the Parkway. Along with all the other city agencies at these special events, the 2nd Alarmers are always present. There is no task that they are not willing to undertake, and they are a true asset to the city of Philadelphia.
The most recent event that we were out there for a number of days was the Amtrak disaster. We were out there for, I believe 3 days. Again, another federal, state, and local response. And we were out there not just for the nutritional benefit, but also the equipment we carry. Our vehicles carry a lot of wide area lighting and medical supplies that were used by the department. Wide area lighting was a very, very important piece because we were able to bring our equipment up to the track bed during the nighttime and provide that scene safety for our responders. If a member, for whatever reason, and that's their own reason, they decide they can't contribute to our organization, we serve everybody in both departments. It's our mission statement that was started in 1921, is provide our service to every responder, and if we don't get any funding from them, that's their own personal reason why. We still contribute. We will make sure that every member is serviced out there at any scene. The biggest challenge that we're going to see in the future, when I first got involved, the organization was striving to make the larger events. And when I first came in, I think it was, we were doing between 70 and 80 runs per year. In 2020, we finished up with 742 runs. And that's only because we added a lot more runs that we think we could be a vital service to the city, fire, and police. By doing though, it requires now that we have to have someone here almost around the clock, which we've been very fortunate to have volunteers that live at our station. When they're finished with their employment from their livelihood, they will remain here at the station. So finding enough volunteers that still want to do this service and stay here at the station for not just 4 hours, but sometimes maybe 12 or 16 hours. So we've kind of put ourselves in a position, we want to make sure to do as many runs as we possibly can to provide that benefit to our responders. So volunteerism is going to be the biggest challenge, I believe, that we're going to recruit volunteers that still want to do this and also maintain the contribution level that the firemen and police are providing to us, because everything they provide is not just for supplies that we service, but it's for the overhead to keep this building going, our vehicles going, our insurance needs. That is something that the organization has to look at. It's really a well-rounded picture. Supplies is one thing, but we pay the same utility bills as any other organization. Our insurance premiums are extremely high because we're actually providing insurance for our 4 vehicles, the members, and the building, and that's a costly item. So making sure that we can respond to as many incidents as possible. So we have 4 vehicles. Whenever we have a breakdown, we have to use our own mechanics, and they're all diesels, so it's a diesel mechanic that's involved. And that's an expensive proposition. Last year, unfortunately, in 2020, one of our vehicles went down, a primary vehicle. It was a $20,000 engine replacement. Something we have to absorb to keep up this pace that we kind of put ourselves in to keep the responders going. Our insurance is extremely high. We have about 46 members now that belong to the organization. So the liability insurance, we carry the same insurance as any other volunteer fire company. Whenever we're summoned to an event, especially if it's a city event, you're going to have a multitude of organizations besides the city services, which could be police, fire, OEM, license and inspection, water department, we have responded some major water main breaks in the city. You'll have a lot of other agencies there, and anybody that's involved in any city event, if they're there to support us, we support them as well. Operation here is an ARD station with 4 vehicles. The building, it's a really big undertaking, and the contributions that we receive from our firefighters, police officers, whether it's a bi-weekly payroll deduction, a one-time check, some United Way donations, or just ordinary citizens that see what we do, they want to send something in to keep the organization flowing. That is all used to maintain vehicle maintenance, station maintenance, supplies, insurance needs, even our members' clothing that they use, we try to provide that for them as well. So the volunteer has very little out-of-pocket expenses we have to give them something back because their time is valuable. So we try to provide that to their volunteer. Throughout the year, thank God we have some really good Samaritans in the fire department. They will look at ways to raise funds. They might have a Phillies tailgate or an Eagles tailgate, and we have the firefighters and police officers that are involved. They come down, patronize us at the event, buy a number of chances, etc. This has been ongoing since I've been chief. There always seems a way they're raising funds for us at some point. We recently just celebrated our 100th anniversary on October the 9th. During our ceremony, a fire lieutenant came up to the podium, and little did we know that there was a fundraiser in the fire department to provide a gift to us. And here they presented this organization with a major check as a gift for our 100-year anniversary. It was just, for us, it's really humbling to see that how many of our first responders really do appreciate what we do. It's hard to gauge on the fire ground or a police incident because everybody's in an emergency mode. But when you have these non-emergency events or they come to our station, you can see how much the appreciation is shown by all of our responders for what we do for them. We do have some very good corporate help, and people don't realize that some of the commodities that we provide to our first responders comes from the corporate side. Tasty Cake for individual. They've been providing their product for us for a number of years. How can an ordinary citizen provide assistance to our organization? Well, monetary assistance is always the #1 priority for any organization. that's volunteer that receives no city taxpayers to keep the operation funded. So many citizens, believe it or not, they may work for somebody that has a United Way program. We are in the United Way program as of today. You can donate through us through your United Way program. You can send in a check to the organization, and we're very heavily into social media. We have a Facebook account, we also have a Twitter account. People that view that can look at the Second Alarmers, and it actually tells you on our accounts that if you want to help us out in any way, especially as a contribution, you can mail us a check. And everything you send us is for you, it's for tax purposes. We are a 501c3 organization, so you can use that for yourself at the end of the year if you want to take it off your taxes. And many people take advantage of that. So it's a great way for an ordinary citizen to help out their local police and fire organizations. We're the ones that keep that the organizations out there running at 100% efficiency by providing our benefit out there 365 by 24 by 7 days a week. When we respond to an incident, we started out in 1921 basically as a coffee service. A group of volunteers got together, saw a fireman at a scene. It was a cold night. The fire was on the waterfront. And they went out in their car and picked up some hot beverages, took it back. And that's how we started. When you look at the organization, how we now have developed over the last 100 years, it's not just a nutritional benefit that we provide, which is the fluids, both hot and cold, and the food product, but we also provide clothing now. In essence, when you have a hot day, we're out there, and one of the things that happens, firemen, we try to prevent heat issues. So we provide a lot of what they call cold towels. We provide decon wipes, because as you look now in the fire department across the country, one of the things that's occurring, the cancer rate is extremely high. 68% of our firefighters are now suffering from some sort of cancer. We now provide what they call a decon wipe that we administer to all our firefighters at the scene when they're done their job. We encourage them to use this wipe to remove a lot of the carcinogenics from their exposed skin, in addition to the towels that we provide to help cleanse their bodies. In the wintertime, we provide, believe it or not, socks, gloves, hand warmers. These are things that are vital during when the weather is extremely cold. It helps them do their job, but it's a product that we have to provide to them, and we purchase it through our funding. We think it's very important that they have that out there at all these type of environments that they're going to experience, whether it be hot and cold throughout the year. One of the things that we do, we evaluate on every response, is we always try to have somebody here to make that quick response with one of our vehicles. However, the scene and the situation could develop into a much bigger response, where we now have to get other members to bring our other vehicles to the scene. And when we get there, besides doing the rest and rehab portion, which is, the nutritional side, we'll set up chairs and even a tent if the weather is that inclement, with not only just heaters to keep our firefighters warm at the scene and police officers, we also carry plenty of salt. We try to salt the scene, so we will salt the area down so none of our first responders will do a slip and fall. Again, that scene safety is something we practice a lot with all of our members. Well beyond, we have to build better for the future. And I really think in order to maintain what we have today, volunteers are important, monetary contributions are important. We have to maintain it, because when you look at our situation, we have 4 vehicles, and they're expensive. It's vehicles that we have purchased with our own funding. Some of these vehicles are going to have to be replaced over time. And these are not ordinary vehicles. These are vehicles that we use a spec system. When a vehicle gets spec'd out, it has to go to a manufacturer that can build this type of vehicle for us to provide the equipment that we need to provide the hot beverages inside. So it's essential heating elements, lighting elements, just to carry the various supplies. The compartments have to be built specifically spec'd for that type of operation. These vehicles, in the last 10 years, we purchased 2 vehicles. They were almost $200,000 each. Those type of vehicles are expensive, and we realize we have another vehicle that has to be replaced in the next couple of years. It's now 28 years old. That vehicle has to be replaced, and we know it's going to be an expensive venture. So the goal is this organization to maintain the reliability that we govern ourselves on today, we may have to make sure that we have the monetary assets to do it, and also the individuals that want to do this operation for us 24/7. So we're constantly looking for volunteers to provide the service, but we need the monetary effort to continue this service into our next, we call 100 years. We receive from an ordinary citizen, a business, a corporation, that money will be utilized to maintain the organization into our future. Again, we all know things continuously rise every year, and prices go up on everything that we buy. Any commodity that we purchase continues to go up. Insurance goes up. Building itself, a lot of repairs that have been done to this building, whether it be a roof, electrical, new floors, is done by this organization. We have to use our funding to maintain this building, the vehicles, our insurance for our members, a lot of things that go into providing, just like you would do your own household, we do here on a much larger scale. But we felt very proud that we were able to support the City of Philadelphia's operation during the task force operations for the protests, and then into the COVID event where the fire department used our facility for 7 months. But if this building wasn't maintained with the highest standard, we would not be able to do that. So we were very fortunate that the building was maintained throughout the years, and we continue to maintain it, that we know that in the future this could happen again. And we'll again be able to extend our courtesy to the city to use the facility as a staging area and a response area. I mean, one of the things that people ask is, how do we do it? Well, without the donations and the firefighter and police officer support, this organization would cease to exist. It's very rare that you have a 100-year-old organization in a big paid urban city that we're using no tax dollars whatsoever. It's being maintained by civilians, businesses, corporations, and our own first responders that we service 365 a day. And that's why when you look at our logo that we always have out there, we got your back, you have our promise. And that's what we mean by that. If you continue to support us monetarily like we've been receiving for the last 100 years, we're going to provide that same support back to you at no cost to the taxpayers, but we're going to provide the best quality emergency scene rehabilitation services that this organization can provide at any given time, any given hour, any given day. In closing, I'd like to say, you know, the Philadelphia Second Alarmers, we're very proud of what we do. And many times I've said to people who've seen us on the street at any emergency scene, they look at our members, how we're dressed, they look at our trucks, and they said, we didn't realize you're volunteers. Your trucks look like the fire department. You look like you're firefighters. But really, in essence, we're the best kept secret in the city of Philadelphia. We're just volunteers trying to give back to our first responders to show our appreciation, and they help maintain that for us by showing their support with their contributions, but we're reaching out to anybody. You don't have to be a firefighter or a police officer to help this organization. You could be an ordinary citizen that just loves the service that our firefighters and police, and you're helping us provide that benefit that they must have out there at long scenes. So if you want to help any, yourselves, your businesses, your corporations, you see this, please reach out to us. Monetary contributions will be greatly used to support this organization in the future, and our support is given right back to our first responders who we love dearly. So again, we thank you for allowing us to tell our story, but remember, we're there to serve them, and you can help us by doing your part and contributing back to us anything you may want to contribute. There's no donations that's small. Anything is greatly appreciated. And remember, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Anything you give us, you can use for your tax benefits at the end of the year. We thank you for everything you've done for us in the past, and we hope that in the future you continue to support us, because again, these are volunteers, ordinary volunteers, doing extraordinary things every day.
There's a lot of cool people here out on these streets, but nobody knows you like an old friend. Nothing's as strong as an old bond. I've moved around in a headstrong wind just looking for an old